Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's the middle Saturday at the Kazoo World Snooker Championship, and already only 15 men remain in contention for the big title. By the end of tonight, 4 world champions will have graced this magnificent stage. Time to find out who'll be joining Dave Gilbert in the last 8 on day 8 here at the one and only Crucible Threatre. Here comes a player who won the last 2 of the session yesterday to carve out a useful overnight lead. Can he take another step closer to a 3rd quarter-final in the last 6 years? Twice he's reached the semis. As tenacious as he is talented, here comes Stephen the Maverick Maguire. And his opponent, a class act on and off the bays. Could he edge closer to a 10th quarter-final, 19 years after his first, which of course led to the crown in 05? Winner of 12 ranking titles in all, a man who absolutely loves the Crucible stage. He's Shaun, the Magician Murphy! And now to a player in uncharted territory. Never before has he reached the last 16 at the Crucible. Never before has he been so high in the world rankings. Under pressure, yes, but he's coming towards the end of his greatest season on tour, and he'll give this absolutely everything. Some say there's a passing resemblance between us. So come on, Sheffield, would you please welcome the exceptionally handsome Tom Ford. And finally, to a man 2 frames away from a 10th Crucible quarter-final, 13 years after his first. The most prolific winner of his generation. 22 major crowns in the last 6 years, including the big one here in 19. The most decorated left-handed player in history. The ace in the pack, Judd Trump.
Hello, good morning from the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield. Day 8. We've been here all week now of the Kazoo World Championship, and this morning we're going to be following the second session of Shaun Murphy against Stephen Maguire. Maguire 5-3 up after the first. It was 3 each. He won the last 2, and I think that's a fair reflection on what we saw yesterday. Murphy, such an attacking player, but his attacking game was blunted a little by the Scotsman. Just a couple of half-centuries for Murphy yesterday, but this is a new day. It's a chance to get going again. I just get the feeling when they come back tomorrow morning, this could be a close finish. It's a very intense rivalry, as we know, but a lot of respect as well between the 2 players. And we know that the winner will play Dave Gilbert, of course, who won last night, as Murphy takes the first long red on. Dominic Dale with me. Yeah, as we were saying yesterday, Dom, the match seemed to be sort of mainly played on Maguire's terms yesterday, and that's something Murphy's got to try and change. He's tried to do it immediately there.
Yes, the hardest thing to do in snooker is to pot balls and get yourself in with terrific long pots. Of course, Shaun Murphy is well known for doing that. But when you come into a session 5-3 behind and there's immediate pressure on you, it's difficult to do. And I think this is why Neil Robson's been struggling so much the last couple of seasons. The long pots aren't going in, he's not making the breaks, and he's vulnerable. And as you say, Steve Maguire is just a perfect match player. He's making it very difficult for Shaun. I've played both of these men several times, and I have to say, I think Shaun's an easier player to try to get the better of than perhaps Steve Maguire is. Shaun tends to leave you good opportunities when he makes mistakes. This man here, Steve Maguire, is a lot more difficult to play at times, particularly when he's scoring and he's playing well and he's happy with his game, and he certainly seems to be at the moment.
Yes, of course, Maguire had to come through 2 rounds of qualifying. Then he beat Eckardt, who's had such a great season, so he's playing good stuff. And of course, he's in that position where he knows, OK, 5-3, that's a close session, but, you know, another 5-3, he's 10-6 up, he's looking good. So Murphy has got to certainly no worse than draw the session from his perspective. Otherwise, he's got a lot to do tomorrow.
Yeah, and, you know, if ever a cannon could win you a frame, it was that previous one there from the blue. He was on that red. He's just knocked in there next to the black, and all of a sudden the black spot's in open play. Have a look at this. Could only really roll the blue in, but that full ball cannon there promotes that red towards that left corner, leaves himself on the red next to the black, the perfect red to be on. And if Stephen can just hold himself together here, he could amass quite a few points. Still a few reds in open play.
$22. $23.
It would appear that Stephen tried to leave himself an angle on the black to go into the reds. He certainly has done that, but it's a little higher on the black than intended. Well, the red just below the pink is obviously on. Yeah, certainly is.
30.
Just off straight on it would be ideal. He could push through for choice of pink or black, because he'll be nudging that other red away from the pink. And this could really work out for Steve Maguire if he can get nice on his colour.
$31.
Yeah, this is, again, one of Murphy's problems in this match. Maguire, he's a heavy scorer as well as the other side of the game. Finished off yesterday with a 72. That was his third half century.
$38.
Just finished awkwardly on that red, and he's finished the wrong side of the blue. Well, he has a lot of cue power, Steve Maguire. What's he got in store for us here, I wonder? Trying to force the cue ball around the angles. It was always going to be a challenge to get anywhere near the reds.
43.
Well, break goes to 43. It's a useful lead, but he could surrender that lead very quickly if he takes on a difficult pot here and misses it. Maybe a safety shot here now is the order of the day. Oh, this is tough. Oh, well done.
44.
Oh, he's on the black. Do you know, I thought the red was on, but I really didn't think that he could get on a colour from it. But he knew better. Is he on the black? Oh, that's tight. I think it just goes.
I certainly think as he walked round, he thought it went. Now he's not quite so sure. No, he's not sure at all. And we're just talking, you know, millimetres really there.
Yes, our camera shot there. We're not right in line with the potting angle. It just looks as though it
Black
goes.
ball.
But it obviously doesn't. So putting the black safe because Shaun Murphy comes to the table 44 points behind. 8 reds remain, so still plenty on the table.
Well, but for a few millimetres, that could easily have been 6-3. Murphy opens the reds up. Very aggressive defensive shot. It's an interesting one, this. I mean, Maguire, you know, frame one of the day there, was clearly trying to make a statement, wasn't he? I'm going to win this frame in one visit. You're going to have to play well today, but he's not won it yet. And where the balls are, it's anyone's, really. The lead doesn't mean that much with the reds open.
I think Stephen, you immediately caught that red too thin. Now, these are the sort of pots that Shaun is going to have to knock in time and time again to get back in this match. And as I say, when you're already 5-3 behind and 43 or 44 points down in the next frame, they're more difficult to knock in. But he's managed it. He'll be disappointed not to be on a colour, so he'll just be nestling in behind the brown, I feel, here. Didn't really attempt to play for a colour there, Shaun. He was more intent on knocking the red in.
Shaun Murphy, 1.
So Steve Maguire has 1 red to try and land upon, the one that's near the top cushion. Not easy to get there, though. Well played, but I think Shaun will be bitterly disappointed that Steve Maguire was able to play that shot. As you can see, there is a red available into the left centre, but Shaun will have severely hampered cueing, which makes the pot doubly difficult.
So a mistake from Maguire and a chance for Shaun Murphy, because he had a go at the initial long red in this frame. But for, well, maybe not even a centimetre, Maguire would have been on that black earlier and probably would have won this frame by now. But unable to take advantage. And 43, the lead as Maguire comes to the table, a chance for 6-3.
this is it. You see, this is the great thing about snooker, isn't it? You can make a mistake. Sit in your chair thinking, well, that mistake could cost me a few points. Before you know it, you're back at the table with a golden chance to wrap up victory in a frame that you thought might just slip away from you. As I say, Shaun's under pressure here to start well. The first thing that suffers under pressure is your potting ability, and Shaun, of course, relies heavily upon that.
Yeah, he's trying to shift the match sort of onto his terrain, but, you know, sounds obvious. You've got to pot balls, and he's had a couple of goes in this frame and hasn't done that. A lot of meetings, of course, between these two. 12-11 to Murphy as professionals, but in the junior ranks as well, going back best part of 30 years they were playing each other. Funnily enough, Murphy, at the start of the season, predicted Maguire would win a big title this season, and this is the last tournament. It's his last chance, but he's in front in this match. A couple of balls needed, as you see, to win this frame.
Didn't kill the pace of the cue ball enough there, Stephen. Wanted to be much straighter on this pink. Now he's 58 ahead, 59 points still remain. But doesn't need to necessarily play position from this pink.
Yeah, 2 snookers required. Otherwise, it'll be a 6-3 lead. And indeed, 3 frames in a row for Maguire in this match.
Stephen Maguire, 21.
And the thing is, I mean, we saw last night, Jack Jones went 8-3 up, didn't he, against C.J. Weir. And he seemed to feel a bit of pressure being the front runner, but Maguire, it just isn't like that, I don't think. He's not the sort of player to sort of fret about things like that. He'd be quite happy, obviously, to be in front in this match. Try and stay there going into the final session tomorrow morning when it concludes.
Shaun rests his cue in the corner there next to his chair. I don't think he expects to get back to the table now. And that should put the tin lid on this frame. Steve Maguire, who won the last 3 frames of this match, beginning to pull away now.
Yeah, that shouldn't make any difference. He's too far back, and Murphy remains where he is. He didn't make much impact, really, on the opening frame of the day, which has gone to Steve Maguire, who extends his lead to 6-3. So Shaun Murphy didn't make much impact there, but a long way to go. 7 frames, of course, left in the session. I think a lot of people were looking forward to this one. There's history between them, but it's not just that. They're both terrific players. Sort of contrasting personalities. But I think if this is close coming back tomorrow, it could be a terrific final session.
Another attacking safety shot from Shaun Murphy. He doesn't want to become involved too much with the tactical side of the game against Steve Maguire, because it's been proven to himself yesterday in their first session that it's not working. And Steve Maguire is looking the better player, the more solid of the two.
I think as well, Dom, what Maguire's very good at is creating a certain energy. You know, it's a long match, but Murphy hasn't played with much freedom yet. You know, Maguire he's making it competitive and putting pressure on right from the off. And that's the challenge for Shaun Murphy, to break free of that and play his game. But it starts with getting in. He just had a couple of 50 breaks, that's all in the match.
Well, cue ball cannoning the green will displease Shaun, but Steve Maguire may well have a go at this straightest red to the right corner, but it's by no means easy. And he may just stun the cue ball for the black in the opposite corner, and there'll be a lot of pressure on this pot. And if it doesn't go in, Shaun will be right in amongst them. Oh, long way off. Well, he hit the wrong side of the red there, so Shaun does have a great chance. Now he's going to have to start to score from these opportunities, Shaun, if he's to get back into this match. And here's a great opportunity.
Yeah, if he could just make one frame-winning break, that might be the start of something more sustained. Because he can create an energy himself, of course, Murphy, when he's playing his best stuff.
One.
Not great, really.
Well, Shaun regards himself as one of the best rest players, and I think he is. The good thing is, he only needs to drop this yellow in. He should be on the red. That's just above the cue ball into the left centre. Oh, a long way off. You see, there's pressure on Shaun. There's pressure on Steve Maguire as well to keep this good start going.
One.
But to score 1 point, Dave, from there, that's no good, is it?
No, he just needed an easier first few shots there, didn't he? I was with Stephen Hendry at one of the tournaments, and he was saying that when you're under it, you just want 4 or 5 easy shots to start a break, and then you relaxed into it. But the second shot, there was pressure on that yellow, and he didn't really get close to it. Like you say, he's very good with the rest, but wasn't comfortable on that one.
One.
I think as well with these two, the sort of dynamic between them, it's like every frame feels like a must-win, which of course it isn't really. But there's every frame, it's like it's 12 each.
And playing at 10 o'clock in the morning possibly doesn't suit Shaun. He's one of these players that loves a big atmosphere, thrives on it. Gains inspiration from a big atmosphere, but a 10 o'clock in the morning session possibly won't suit him. I did place Steve Maguire a favourite ahead of this match, and he's playing the sort of snooker that I expected him to play. He seems to be very settled now with the cue. He's found his game again, and he's consistent, he's scoring. And he's looking like the Steve Maguire that we know he can be, but hasn't been for a few seasons.
14.
Yeah, he's a player with a reputation that sort of outweighs his ranking, really. He's ranked 28, but who cares? He's a former UK champion, 6 ranking titles. He's beaten everybody over the years. You know he's going to give it everything. Dangerous, I think, in this sort of environment. Doesn't like the qualifying setup, but on this sort of stage, he's not intimidated.
$20. 21. $26.
May look for an angle here on the black to screw into the reds.
27.
That's perfect. If Stephen can screw into the meat of those reds, there's a little group of 4 or 5 at the back of that main cluster there. If he can screw into the middle of them, he should fan the reds out rather nicely and have a choice of reds to the 2 top pockets, but it just depends on the pace that he plays this at. I mean, there possibly is still a loose red he could play for, but I don't think he will. I think he will go into them. Well, there's one more loose red, but Stephen's decided to still go into the reds, but from the red to push through for the black or screw off them for the pink. It's always a choice a player has, but you can see he has no choice but to go into the reds now. Decided to screw off them. He's missed the red. Wow, I can't believe it. Took his eye off it. Wasn't really on a colour anyway. And these are the decisions you make as a player, aren't they? He'll obviously wish he'd have gone into them from the black now. How costly could that be?
Yeah, potentially very. We'll see. That could be a key moment in this whole match, maybe. But a lot depends on the man coming to the table here. It's a little bit feast or famine at the Crucible for Murphy. 4 finals, of course he's won the title, but had lost first round last 2 years before beating Luhaisen this year. But everyone knows, and this is the thing with champions here, you know he can last the course. And certainly when you get to the 1 table, he looks very dangerous there.
9.
He's a very rhythmical player, Shaun Murphy, but he does
16.
have this unusual habit of beginning to feather the cue ball before his chin is actually come to rest on the cue.
17.
But as you can see, he's trying to get on with it, trying to play through the pressure, really. And there's no doubt of it, this style of play can intimidate anybody when it starts to work.
23. 24.
He just nudged a red there, Shaun, into that little group of reds. As you can see here, that red that was available, I don't think is now. So having to screw into them, never a guarantee you'll finish well. And if that red to the right of the pink isn't on,
31.
then I can't see an alternative. That could be end of break.
Well, it's very annoying. I mean, this sort of bits and pieces stuff doesn't really suit Murphy. He needs to be killing frames off clinically, you feel.
Shaun Murphy, 31.
Yeah, disappointing not to continue and really make Maguire think about his own miss.
Well, you can see in shot there a potential plant to the right corner that could be made. No. Stephen couldn't see the right part of that potential plant to just correct the angle and knock it in, but he's got a good cue ball there, but that red has just poked its nose out and is available to Shaun. Again, these are very tough pots, and even more so with the deficit that he's facing. Yeah, these pots that need to go in just aren't. And I think Stephen can snick this into the left centre. It's thinner than it looks, but I think the only problem with it is positionally.
One. Six.
I think he's finished okay, you know. I think he can cue between the red and the yellow here and not be particularly hampered at all.
Seven. $14. $15. $22. $23.
Didn't push through the cue ball as much as he wanted to there. Could have really done with being on the black, because even if he doesn't get on the last red, he can easily snooker Shaun Murphy behind the yellow, but the black isn't even on really now for Stephen. But he really is in the box seat here. 25 points the advantage. Yellow's awkward. The red that remains is tied up. Could put a colour save and snooker Shaun.
Yeah, closing the shop,
Stephen Maguire,
bringing down the
20.
shutters.
This is about as easy an escape as they get, but he doesn't want the red to cannon into the black here, Shaun. That could be a calamity. But it has. Shaun will be bitterly disappointed with where he's put that red. Completely misjudged the slide of the side cushion there, which has pushed that red towards the corner pocket instead of being in behind the black spot somewhere.
One.
Yeah, not great signs. Frame's not done yet, but this sort of bitty snooker's not playing to Murphy's strengths.
Oh, 26 points the lead, so just needs a colour, Stephen, but he's not on anything ideally. He could certainly push the pink safe and snooker Shaun behind the black. Could do with one more colour safe just to dampen Shaun's spirit still further. But he is taking this brown on. It's definitely close. Oh, it did everything but go in.
Stephen Maguire 1.
So, Shaun's hopes still alive in this second frame of the morning.
It's one of those, isn't it? If that wasn't frame ball, I'm sure he wouldn't have played it, but a chance to get to the snooker's required stage. He's still favourite, I guess, in the frame. Blue's safe.
And the problem is now that that brown has finished so close to the centre pocket, if Shaun does get an opportunity, he could easily leave himself on the brown just to run the cue ball up the cushion to develop the blue. Here is that opportunity. Now Shaun just can't afford to be missing these pots that ordinarily you wouldn't find particularly difficult. He's going to have to stun the cue ball around the angles. He's going to have to avoid the black.
Two.
That's an excellent shot from Shaun Murphy. Now, ideally, he could do with trying to get this cue ball somewhere near the pink spot if he can manage it, to leave himself the angle on the brown, to knock that blue towards the green pocket.
5.
Done his best. Does he have an angle on the brown? Can he play the cannon? He could. Oh, has it worked out? I think it has. This frame, all of a sudden, is in the balance. In fact, I think Dave's Shaun's favourite.
Yeah, and this could be a real turning point because we saw him in his seat looking actually thoroughly fed up just about a minute ago before Maguire missed that brown. Now, suddenly he's coming back to life again.
$14.
Well, not ideal, but the angle's good. It's just the pot itself is tricky.
It was in all the way, wasn't it? Lovely stuff. So, Murphy was struggling to make an impact on the session, but he needs this black to close to 6-4.
27.
Yeah, you can see he knows the importance of that. Well, my word, frame 2, there's already a clenched fist. 6-4.
Thanks, Stephen. The 11th frame, Stephen Maguire to play.
So, terrific clearance in the end from Shaun Murphy there, yellow to black, to get on the scoreboard this morning. 6-4, though, it's still Maguire leading.
That's an excellent break-off from Steve Maguire. I do believe he attempted to get the Crucible in behind the yellow. It's something a lot of players do these days. And there are plenty of loose reds left and right of the main bunch that could easily be left by Shaun. Should not get line and length absolutely perfect here. And this is pacey. Goodness me. Well, he certainly has left an abundance of reds here for Steve Maguire. Shots to the left centre, the left corner. That was a little clumsy from Shaun.
Maybe still a bit pumped up after winning that last frame. That's the problem. I mean, it was an instinctive sort of celebration, but if he ends up sort of 11-5 down, I'm sure that'll be shown again later on.
Well, Stephen will, if he does attempt the red to the right corner, he'll try and play a very jabby screw off the side of the pack of reds for the pink. That's what he's tried to play. Too much action on the cue ball, it's gone too far. Difficult to control the cue ball. Don't think he can attempt the blue, he'll be too hampered, I think. I think he's desperate to try something, but in the end, I'm sure it'll just be a safety.
Yellow ball. Steve Maguire. 1.
Beautifully cued by Shaun. Found a great line, but you can see the reaction now. He's just potted the black to win the frame, and there's the fist pump. Come on. That's what he's saying. Trying to get himself pumped up to get back in this match. That was a key frame he just won there.
The thing is, it's not uncommon in so many sports, is it? You know, in tennis, it's every other point. You see that. Golfer holds a putt, you see it. It's just snooker's associated with sort of repressing emotions. But everyone's human, and I think the crowd actually like to see that. They like to see that it matters to people. We are in a theatre, you know, this is the entertainment business that we're in. Don't want to see it, obviously, every shot, but that would be ridiculous. But it was a key moment in the match. As I say, though, it remains to be seen exactly how key in the wider scheme of things in terms of how this match develops.
Tough pot that Stephen attempted there. There are definitely pottle reds on here for Shaun. There may be a cut on into the right corner. There's a straightish red to the green pocket. Shaun probably just lost a touch of composure there. He overcut that badly. And that cue ball could scarcely finished in a better place for Steve Maguire.
One. 7. Eight.
Got more reaction out the cue ball than he expected there, Stephen, and the cue ball was ran towards that red and hampered him. A couple of pots, or even 3 reds that will pot into this corner pocket here. He's probably going to choose the one that he feels most comfortable queuing with. And this could easily go wrong positionally. Trusting to luck a little. It hasn't finished too well. Wrong side
16.
of the blue, close to the side cushion.
$21.
Don't know if Stephen can risk a pot to the right corner. The black isn't available really. And if he plays a safety into bulk, he'll need to be very careful of 2 reds just below the pink that could be very close to being a plant for his opponent. Oh, it has to be very brave to take that red that's close to the right corner on. Maybe the black pots into the same pocket, but this is very, very high tariff.
Well, it sort of bullied its way into the pocket there, didn't it? It wasn't clean, but it's in.
$29.
I don't think that was the best positional shot that he could have played to be on this red. Just told me there that he was a little bit afraid of missing the pot on the black, so he played the easiest positional shot available to him. And that's what you have to do sometimes. You just have to manage your own emotions. If you're not confident, play the shot that appeals to you most.
$35. $36.
Had to play into reds there, Steve Maguire, just to hold the cue ball up a little because he had a lot of angle on the blue. It's worked out well. That red that's close to the black is the one that Stephen would love to see the back of, because then the black would be in play. But he's building up a useful lead now, so he may be content to support reds and pinks.
.48. .49.
So, despite Murphy's dramatic steal and celebration, it's been all Maguire in this frame. There's a red safe, yellow safe, which is in his favour. These reds available to get the frame won. There was no reaction from him to the Murphy celebration. He just sort of staring into the distance, getting ready for this frame.
55.
Couple more pots for a 7-4 lead.
.62. .70. .71.
He made 2 centuries against Ali Carter. But either way, this is a frame-winning break. Obviously, that red by the yellow, he would have to deal with to make the ton. But this is going to be his highest break of the match if he pots this red. So despite losing what looked like a big frame, it hasn't made any immediate difference to him. Stephen Maguire about to establish a 7-4 lead here. It was 5-3. He won the first. Looked like he would win the second. Shaun Murphy made quite a dramatic yellow to black clearance, and when he potted the black, he had a little fist pump of celebration, but a couple of early chances in this frame went nowhere, and Maguire's making his highest break of the match to press on to 7-4. It's a match that concludes in the morning. He's trying to bring the last red out to make the century. Going to have to be some sort of double if he is to do that, but overall he's looking good, the Scotsman. Could easily have won all 3 frames this morning. Oh, there it is. There is the double. Still, though, the yellow will have to be dealt with as well.
.97.
So the break ends at 97, the highest break of the match from Stephen Maguire. And he's back 3 in front at 7-4. It's 7-4 to Maguire with one more frame to play before the interval. And Murphy made it a really good yellow to black clearance, gave it the fist pump, didn't pot a ball next frame. Maguire made a 97, the highest of the match. Yeah, Shaun Murphy's highest break, still only 57. That was back in frame 6. He's had just 2 half centuries. You just don't think he's going to win the match unless that changes. The winner, of course, plays Dave Gilbert, who saw off Robert Milkins pretty quickly last night.
I've played both of these players several times, and I said at the beginning that I found that Shaun was an easier player to get chances against and potentially beat than Steve Maguire when he's playing well. Now, Stephen, of course, the last few seasons has been tinkering with different cues. But he's a lot more settled now. He's found a cue he really likes. He's playing the sort of snooker that we're accustomed to seeing him play, and that's a mistake from Shaun. Red cannoning into the blue. Has finished right over the left centre. Stephen can't do much positionally with this. The cue ball's so close to the top cushion. As long as he avoids the in-off in the yellow pocket, every chance of being on blue or bulk colour.
One.
Probably play for the red into the right centre, but if he's straight on this red to the corner, it shouldn't present too much of a problem. Needs an angle on a colour, though, to maybe go into the pack of reds.
6.
One loose red that he could play for, but he has a good angle on brown or green to go into them to develop more. Just didn't catch the main body of the pack of reds as you saw there, just clipped the edge of them. That's why the cue ball found its way near this top cushion.
Stephen Maguire.
He knows he's on top, though. He's looking to keep the pressure on Murphy. Keep him out.
Believe it or not, Shaun attempted the pot there, but he's been kept out the ball so much, not just today, but throughout the match so far, and it's just affecting his ability to pot these long reds that we're used to seeing him knock in.
One. Six. Seven.
There's the bird's eye view here at the Crucible. Of course, all eyes on these two now. We saw the dynamic that created last night with C. Joey and Jack Jones. It put pressure on both, I think, having everyone watching as Maguire doesn't hang about getting into them.
played the shot well, caught the pink pretty much full ball. Of course, he's on this red to the left corner, but he can't hold for the black. It's just too thin for that.
Oh,
he's played that really nicely. He knew he had to flirt with that centre pocket. So back in good position now. You can see the difference in the breaks tally there. Steve Maguire made 10 decent breaks to Shaun Murphy's 3. Just the 2 half centuries coming from the cue of Shaun Murphy. Very unusual. Pink just a little more awkward now to get position on. It's easily available into the left centre. Shaun wondering whether he'll return to the table in this 12th frame. Stephen would love to have that black on its spot. What a difference that would make.
What he's done successfully is subdue Murphy in
31.
the sort of definitive sense, and that's why I think Murphy celebrated how he did at the end of frame 2. It was a little bit of release in a match where he spent a lot of time on the back foot, been unable to get the breaks going. Overall, it's a very strong performance, this, from Maguire. We saw it in round 1 against Ali Carter. That was another very kind of passionate encounter as well. Missed out last year, didn't qualify. He'd been here for 19 years straight. So he's itching to get back. And despite not having a great season, he's finding form again at the best place you can, the Crucible.
A
rueful grin there on the face of Steve Maguire. He's finished quite awkwardly on this red. It's very straight. May have to try and screw back for the blue in the left centre. Wants it to keep running.
38.
Wants it to keep running. Oh, great effort, a valiant effort, because these cushion rails aren't particularly quick. So just punch the blue in and out of bulk. A little short of pace, but again, in this 12th frame, is amassing a handy lead. He's not on that red, as you can see. The pink is obscuring the potting angle. But there are a couple of other alternatives just to the left of the pink. A couple more reds and colours are all that Stephen's looking for here.
Stephen Maguire, 43.
But the red stays out, so some sort of chance for Murphy. There's work to do, but frame could have been over. There you see, the last ball he potted was that black, actually, in frame 2, where he gave it the fist afterwards, but nothing since then. Surely this is going in, though.
1.
Stephen recognised the importance of that one good pot. He knew the frame would be at his mercy had it gone in. So Shaun comes to the table, the heavy deficit to try and overcome, but the chance is there for him, albeit the black is a little bit awkward, as are a couple of reds just next to it. Very important frame for Shaun Murphy, 8-4 against an informed Steve Maguire is a lot to ask, but 7-5 just keeps the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets out this mini session having won 2 frames, that seems like a big result, because Maguire's played the better snooker.
Thirteen. 14.
Shaun may look to go into the 2 reds and the black at some point, from possibly the pink. If you were to cannon the black half ball, that would shift it out of the way and probably promote one of the other reds towards a corner pocket, and that could bring everything into play.
21.
Oh, this is going to run too far. That's not a good angle at all. It's very straight.
Just a slight noise there. Just resettling himself.
He could punch this pink in with great force and go into the reds, but the one just to the right of the black will pot. And he could scarcely play that any better. But getting on that red that's close to the cue ball there could be very tricky. One consideration could be to play for the pink in the left centre. It's difficult to get the angle on the colour that you're looking for when you allow the cue ball to travel around the table like that. Again, he's no good at all on this pink. Can't possibly get onto that red now. So it'll just be a good safety shot after this pink. Tell you something, if there's room to get that cue ball in behind the black, that could be a snooker that could win any frame.
$34.
He's furious with himself, that cue ball. Just didn't run anywhere near as far as Shaun wanted it to. Wanted a good 15 or 20 inches to the right of where it is.
Yeah.
He can still play a very good safety shot here, but he will be hampered by the pink.
Is that long enough? Have a try.
But what it
Shaun
does mean
Murphy,
is that
34.
now everything's potable. So, OK, Maguire's in front, but frame is well and truly in the balance. Well, that might make a difference, knocking the black on the cushion. To Murphy, that is, because he will need it. Or he could do anyway.
Stephen would be very pleased that that red isn't potable for Shaun. But I think you're right, Dave. In all likelihood, Shaun would need the black unless he were to potter pink from the remaining red if he gets the chance. That's a great shot that Shaun's played. And because that red is close to the black, Stephen is in danger of developing the black if he plays something too extravagant.
Yeah, glancing blow. Fascinating moment of this session, of this whole match, really.
Everything, please.
Everything he's asked for.
Well, yes, because that cue ball is about as far away from Shaun as it could be with the shot that he wants to play. I think he wants to wedge the red towards the black, get the cue ball in behind yellow and brown, but well, he's playing this from quite some distance. And with all of this gear attached to the cue, it makes the whole shot tricky to time well. Very easy to underhit or overhit the shot.
Be a nice morning for a spot of fishing, actually. Look at that. You can see from the side view how much cue's involved.
Stephen has a decision here, because ordinarily the shot you'd play would be to play the red into the black, leave the red where the black is, and every chance you'd snooker your opponent. But of course Stephen doesn't want to bring the black into play. Made a complete mess of that, Stephen. I'm sure he was trying to come off the top cushion first there and kick the red into bulk, but caught the red on the way down.
Just past the 4-hour mark for the match, and it feels like an important juncture, maybe the most important. Murphy sort of clinging on in this session. But if he can win the frame, he could still turn this round in the second mini-session.
Well, Stephen can see this red about three-quarter ball. He could play the red into bolt behind the yellow and the brown, but the cue ball could go dangerously close to one of the black pockets. Took the risk. Oh, that red cannon in the green's been a help.
Yeah, well, he's pushed the green safe, which again has got to be in Maguire's favour with the lead he's got.
Oh, it's amazing as a player how many times you leave your opponent a little gap between balls like this.
We're low on centuries for this tournament, but we're high on frames like this. We saw a few last night with Jack Jones and Sijia Wheat. Real close battles. The crowd really get involved in them, don't they? You see the way the players cope with the sort of shifting fortunes in these frames.
Shaun unlucky there. He could have played 2 in 1 to develop the black slightly. The cue ball could have run into the green to develop that. Oh, that's a pretty decent cannon on the yellow. It's easily swervable, this, if it is a snooker. But you'd have to control it well, and the problem is the cue ball could run into the brown very easily, so it's not as straightforward as it may appear. Ooh, the cue ball just missed the brown.
So, Shaun Murphy with a chance at the red. The green, obviously, is a safe ball at the moment.
One.
And the black is going to be also coming into play. Well, Murphy hopes it will anyway, if he gets down that far.
Yes, now Shaun has an angle here if he wishes to bring the green into play, but if he cannons the green full ball, he won't be on the yellow. So too much of a risk. He's missed the yellow. Well, do you believe it?
Shaun Murphy.
The only saving grace for Shaun is that Steve Maguire needs the awkward green now.
He's missed a couple with the rest this morning, which is not like him.
Two.
Well, it feels like a flashback, Dom, to last night with Seajoy and Jack Jones. These are the sort of things that were happening. Look at that. Unbelievable.
Well, what's worse, I'm not sure Stephen could see enough of the bulk cushion to just play a simple escape towards the green. How tight is the cue ball to the brown? Oh, he's just got a bit of a gap there. Still had to play it with a lot of side spin. Seems like a big frame though, doesn't it now?
Well, Maguire just going over to the other side, a bit of distance. Remember, he's already lost a frame on the black this morning. Otherwise, he's been on top in this session. Made 97 in the last frame to lead 7-4.
It's a great shot from Shaun. This will have to be a bit of a hit and hope for Steve Maguire, but he may play it with a lot of pace, and you never know, you could easily cannon in to a high-value colour, knock that onto a cushion rail. That's what Stephen Maguire will be hoping for.
He was hoping, but there's the result. So Murphy with some sort of chance again to make another steal. That black, though, now looking like a big ball on the top cushion.
Shaun may well stun him behind the brown to leave it in the same pocket as the green. But when you've got the extension on the cue and you're playing it with the rest from distance, timing the shot well is never straightforward.
It's fine, Dan. Thank you. Thanks. Free.
Well, we're over the half an hour mark in this frame. It's the longest frame of the match so far.
7.
But this is the key shot coming up. Get nicely on the pink to play down for that awkward black, and that looks to be about perfect.
Oh,
he played that blue rather casually. Dead straight on this pink is no good, and that's not great. You have to power this in. Oh, he's manufactured a bit of an angle there. He's done well, but this black,
18.
my goodness, Dave, this is a tester.
Biggest shot of the match, this, isn't it? Maguire's made a lot of the running in the session. But Shaun Murphy has won a second black ball frame. There's the fist again. He's still in this. He's had to fight hard to win the 2 frames. But they go to the interval as they came out this morning with 2 frames separating them. Maguire 7, Murphy 5. Crowd filing back in, and here comes the players. Yeah, Murphy's won 2 frames on the black to trail 7-5. It could easily have been a bigger lead for Maguire, but Murphy has hung on in there as the players return.
Frame, Stephen Maguire to break.
So Steve Maguire to get the match back underway, 7-5. Another 4 frames and the match will conclude on Sunday morning, which is traditionally quite a quiet time, isn't it? But if this is close, it could be a very dramatic session.
I'm sure Shaun Murphy's mid-session interval cup of tea would have tasted a lot sweeter than Stephen Maguire's. I'm sure he feels he could have won all 4 frames. But snooker doesn't work like that. Sometimes you try to protect your lead in a frame too much and you just play the odd negative shot, and in the end it comes back to bite you. It's a great pot from Shaun. Now I just wonder if Shaun Murphy would have spent any time on the practice table during the mid-session interval practicing long pots, because from my point of view I think it's the key to Shaun's performances. If the long balls start going in, he often gets himself in with long pots like that. He's not a tactical player really, Shaun. And this is a great chance to pull within a single frame. He hasn't really done anything in terms of making frame-winning breaks in this match so far. Perhaps that can change here.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. We haven't seen a single frame where he's potted a long red and made a frame-winning break off it. But maybe, as you say, now that he's kept himself in contention with those 2 black ball steals, it's just giving him the confidence. There's the red, sort of trademark Murphy. His highest break, just 57. That was back in frame 6, but there's plenty of time to improve on that.
13. 14.
That was a lively bounce off the top cushion. I'm wondering now whether he's on a red.
21.
We heard in Judd's interview there, he mentioned about the conditions. In fact, when I played my match a few days ago against Kyron, I played a similar shot to that and overran and wasn't on a red. And I think the same thing's happened to Shaun. Can he just see enough of this? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Shaun Murphy, 21.
Oh, well, that will rankle with Shaun. He doesn't feel that he broke down there through any fault of his own.
Yeah, he was giving the cushion a bit of a stare. That's frustrating. He got in with the good red. It was looking like the start of something. And then, well, you can see the real annoyance. Here it is. That was the pot that he attempted, but it was where he'd left himself that was the issue.
Again, you know, if the weather outside is a bit damp and dreary and the table is just holding a little bit of moisture, that's when you do tend to get these fast bounces on occasion. And there have been quite a few kicks here at the Crucible this year that we haven't experienced for quite a while since the advent of this new chalk variety, which has almost entirely eliminated kicks. These statistics that are rolling through at the bottom of your screens heavily in favour of Stephen Maguire from this session so far, but little to show for it. The 4 frames were shared.
Yeah, I mean, it was a blow to lose the 2 black ball frames, but I guess from Maguire's perspective, he's not seeing Murphy flying. He's not seeing him. I mean, it could have happened there, but it broke down. Not seeing him making these big breaks. So from that perspective, he's sort of keeping him a little bit hemmed in maybe in this match. The breaks not really favouring Murphy. Well, this is thin. Cue ball racing a little.
I think Stephen Maguire can see enough of the red above the black to pot it. It's not a difficult pot if it goes. But can he control the cue ball for a choice of blue or bolt colour? I didn't pot the red. It's a little surprising, but as you can see, that blue is hiding that red that's near the right corner. He's a little lucky there, Stephen Maguire. It's always a risk when you play those attacking safety shots. You don't know where the reds are going to finish. Shaun's got a fabulous cue ball there, but there is definitely a potable red near this right corner that will interest Stephen Maguire. And if he knocks it in and avoids the cannon on the red just below it, he could be on the black.
One. Four.
When Stephen potted the red, I didn't expect him to play it at the speed that he did. Tried to play it with an element of safety, landed nice on the green, but I'm sure this time he will attempt to play for the black. May well be on the pink as well at the same time.
Five.
Well, in terms of scoring, Maguire's made the 3 highest breaks of the match, including the highest, 97, in frame 11.
11.
That's really been the issue for Murphy. Yes, he's stolen a couple, but just not making breaks. He's just, 57, his highest. That's not going to win him this match, I'm sure.
12. Nineteen. 20. No problem.
Just spotted something on the white, asking Marcel Eckardt, the referee, to deal with that. Sea of faces in the background. Of course, the wall went up after Judd Trump beat Tom Ford 13-7. It's the other thing, I mean, the endless talk about the venue. I've heard people say, oh, have 2 crucibles. Well, what happens if in one of them there's no play? The audience get nothing to watch.
$27. $28.
Just the
35.
pace of his positional shot nicely there, getting closer to winning this frame from this opportunity.
36.
And that was a key shot there. He had the angle just to nudge another red into play.
$43.
I wonder if Stephen expected a quicker bounce there. Because, of course, it seemed to be the problem for Shaun Murphy when he got in. Put him out of position and he missed the red to the right corner because of a fast bounce. Maybe Stephen expected another there. Not on this red as he wanted to be. So we'll be cannoning those other 2 reds into play here.
$44.
But in the end, it proved beneficial. Developed the reds and landed beautifully on the pink.
Murphy got in first with a good red, but that bounce off the top cushion was a big moment for Shaw. Stopped
51.
him in his tracks. He was just about on the next red, but it was tough. Maguire as well. He's not hanging around here. A couple of reds needed.
57.
And he'll be 3 clear again. Just checking that. This pink puts him 42 in front, so red and a colour. And he should be 8-5.
63. $64.
Stephen won't be pleased with that. 43 ahead, 43 remaining, so I'm sure he'll play the blue, but positionally the pink's the better ball. But having potted the blue, Shaun now requires 2 snookers as things stand.
69. Stephen Maguire.
Well, he will get a
69.
chance. Maguire missing that red. Won't mind, I guess, seeing the black go to the cushion. but would have liked to have killed the frame off. But another good visit there, 69 from the Scotsman.
One.
Shaun will, I'm sure, try to leave this red on the table to try and give himself the opportunity to extract a free ball situation. And the only way you can really do that against the top players is to try and get that red as close to a colour as possible, so that
7.
should a player fail to escape from the snooker, a free ball is left.
Shaun Murphy. 7.
Frame over if he pots this, which you'd fancy him to do.
One.
They've been closely fought sessions, but if Maguire wins another 1-5-3, he's 10-6 up. And that's a great lead coming back tomorrow morning. So despite the two black ball steals, Shaun Murphy still unable to really make inroads into this session.
And the frame.
No way back from here. He stays in his chair. So once again, Maguire 3 frames clear. And now 5 frames from the quarterfinals, leading 8-5.
The 14th frame. Shaun Murphy to break.
Shaun Murphy then looking to avoid, for the first time, going 4 frames down. Watching that red rather keenly as he breaks off.
Yes, again, another sign that the top cushion is playing rather quickly for that red to come nigh on level with the blue. Yes, Steve Maguire knows now that he can't possibly be behind going into the final session. Ooh, dangerously close to a double kiss. Sometimes you play that shot knowing that it can happen, but you just have to play the shot because it's the right one to play and there isn't another alternative. sure that Shaun will attempt this red that's to the right of the blue into the right corner. But I'll be surprised if he doesn't screw back for a bolt colour, because it's dangerous otherwise. Oh, he thought that was in. Definitely thought that was in. But it just caught that near jaw. Have a look at Shaun's reaction here. Oh, it didn't go in.
Well, there's the pot success for the overall tournament. It's worth saying 2 and 3 there, Maguire and Walden are out. So that doesn't tell you the whole story by any means. O'Sullivan top at the moment on 94%. It's also, it can be misleading, you know, because you can pot a ball and then not be on the next ball and play safe. You're 100% pot success, but you haven't made a break.
Thanks.
That's too thin. Shaun deep in thought. Well, he certainly does have a lot to ponder. He's 8-5 behind. He needs to get back into this match quickly. The problem is, though, Steve Maguire's safety has been so good that Shaun can't really impose his style of play on Stephen. He's been kept out the balls. He hasn't had a great deal to go at.
Foul. Shaun Murphy. 4.
Well, even there, Stephen's been very fortunate. Had that cue ball rattled in the jaws, could easily have been amidst all these reds. As it is, Shaun's got to play from in hand, and I don't think he has a pot that's worth risking. maybe Stephen is snookered on all reds. Yes, he is. Oh, well, maybe he can just get through to that red next to the black. The problem is that's no good because of the position of the pink. Be very easy to cannon into the pink. He'll need to be careful here. Had to play it very thickly. And played it too thickly. My goodness, he's been lucky there. He's got away with this. Possibility of a very, very tricky plant for Shaun, but the possible red is no good to him. He can't get onto a colour. So, tricky plant it may be. No, Shaun's thinking better of it. I don't blame him.
This is where you want a big bounce off the cushion. Fantastic pot. Terrific red from Maguire.
Rambo. Stephen Maguire.
Definitely feels like he's just bossing things in general.
Shaun can play around the angles to rest upon the red nearest this left corner, but there is room in behind the red. If he plays it with too much pace, he could leave something on. Well, pace is okay. What's the line like? It's not safe. Not by any means. Choice of reds. One to the right corner. A couple of potable reds to the right centre. Stephen will certainly be taking one of them on. Well, that safety from Stephen Maguire has certainly brought the black into play, which will help Shaun Murphy. Let's have a look at the number of spectators. Not many empty seats, but they've got the entire auditorium to themselves. Crucible's best atmosphere, for me, is when you have that situation. It doesn't come up often when a session from the early match finishes quickly and you have the whole of the Crucible Theatre to yourselves. No distractions from the other table. And an audience that's thoroughly enthralled with the action going on here.
Yes, the spectators are as much a part of the World Championship as the players. They create the atmosphere. So he's caught the blue.
Yeah, even there you see Stephen's been a bit fortunate, but catching the blue, that's gone towards bulk. The pink's out of commission. If Shaun plays for the black, that'll go back on its spot and be completely tied up. So how do you make a big break from here?
One.
Yeah, it's very crowded, isn't it, around that black spot? When the black's respotted.
Eight.
What Shaun needs to do ideally is to play up for a bulk colour and crash that cue ball into all of those reds and the black to try and just move them around a little.
Nine. $14.
Yeah, I didn't think that red was on. The black certainly doesn't pot. Shaun didn't play the blue too well, but he certainly played that one well. Had a lot more work to do with the cue ball to get where he has. Needs a bit of luck. Oh, dear me. Is he on a red? The black's potentially available
20.
if he can remove the red that's blocking the pocket. Oh, he's okay. Yes, he can get through to the very red he wants to get out of the way.
Well, he did the right thing, didn't he? He needed to get balls into play, and like you say, you're relying on a little bit of luck, but he would have been unlucky not to be on the red. So, is this the start of something? This was the shot he played, trying to open up that black spot area.
$24.
Remember, he's only made 2 half-centuries in the whole match, and the most recent was back in frame 6 yesterday. We're now into frame 14.
Well, the black is now available for Shaun. This was a shot that has opened this frame right up for him. That cue ball, though, if it had just run on another half an inch, he might not have been on anything. But I don't think he has enjoyed a great run of the ball. My goodness. That cue ball only just stopped in time.
$25. $32. $33.
Shaun Murphy came here as a boy to watch snooker. He's besotted with the game. In many ways, he still is. And it's that pure love of the game when you're in trouble that can be a massive advantage. We know he'll be here to the end of the tournament anyway in other capacities, but he'd rather be playing than doing anything else.
.41.
Just when you can't really afford to be the wrong side of a ball, he's having to play the green now. This is looking good. Back in A1 position.
44.
Yeah, it is looking good, and those safe reds, of course, are in his favour now with the lead he's building. Chap there in the crowd peeking round, doesn't want to miss a ball of the action here. And why would you? This is two proper big hitters entertaining this audience this morning. So 55 in front. A couple more reds should make it 8-6. And I think the significance would be he would have done it with a good-sized break rather than the other two frames he's won today, which have been black ball steals.
.53. .60. .61.
Murphy's highest break of the match.
.66. Shaun Murphy.
Well,
66.
you feel he's probably done enough. Steve Maguire's conceded, so 66. Murphy's highest break in this whole match. And with 2 frames to play this morning, we're back to 2 in it. Maguire leading 8-6. So everyone's settling down, ready
Frame
for the
15.
next frame.
Steve Maguire.
3 times this morning, Steve Maguire has extended his lead to 3 frames, and each time Shaun Murphy has come back to win the next. So 8-6, 2 left to play in the session. They've had much of it to themselves, the wall up after Trump won earlier. Bit more room. But same pressure, in fact, it's a different sort of pressure, more eyes on you.
That's another great pot from Shaun, but a very unfortunate cannon into the blue has left him in no man's land. Could pot the green or the yellow, but I don't think it'd be nice on a red afterwards. Is it worth taking on? Well, he's knocked it in. Well, does the green go on the blue spot? And if it does it block the red that Shaun has played for? Referee Marcel Eckardt just checking the availability of the pink spot. No, blue spot it is. But can Shaun still see this red? Probably can. But this is another testing pot. There's a bit more pressure on this.
5.
just potted it on the thin side. That's why the cue ball's just run through a little. Have a look at this. Just off that near jaw. So the cue ball just ran through a little more. This black is very thin. He doesn't like it. The cue ball will be running into other balls. No guarantee of position. Not worth the risk.
Shaun Murphy. 5.
Shaun gesticulating. A great verve there that the cue ball ran off course.
Yeah, if there's ever a shortage of those people who guide in the aeroplanes as they come into land, don't they, with the flags, get a couple of snooker players involved, because there's a lot of gesticulating these days, isn't there? Could be right up their street.
Yeah, I'm as bad as all of them, believe me. If you get a kick, cue gets flailed around. Yes, we like to advise the audience of why we've missed a shot when it's not our fault, or why we've played a bad one. It's the fault of the... Chance here perhaps for Stephen to stun the cue ball off the side cushion, get in behind the yellow if he can. Needs to keep running. Yeah, just got the line wrong.
Very close. Very, very close to getting that.
He'd be a little disappointed, Shaun. He may have expected to make that shot to nothing plant, but no obvious harm done. Another big frame, isn't it, this one? Oh, again, just missing in his attempt to get in behind the yellow, Steve Maguire. Don't know if that's red. Yes, it is covered, the one that's closest to the pocket. Shaun hasn't been within a single frame of Steve Maguire since he trailed 4-3, and then Stephen began to pull away a little. Applause, but that's a mistake from Shaun. He's left a gap through for this red in the corner pocket. OK, the cue ball will in all likelihood cannon into other balls, but I think Stephen will need to take this on. Every chance he could deflect off a red, even be on the pink if he's very lucky.
It was a bit wild. Could have been a worse result, I guess, Yeah, you're right. I mean, we're getting now to the last couple of frames, and the pressure, if anything, is ratcheted up a bit. Oh, it's just great cueing, isn't it? That pocket is not generous either. We've seen that today, but that red has been powered in.
This may be a better opportunity than it may appear, because the red that's closest to the black will pot into the left corner, and all of a sudden that would bring the black right into play. Shaun would love to get onto that red as soon as he can. And in fact, he's played for the red just to the left of the black, and if he pots that, I just wonder if the black will pot into the left corner then. This is a wonderful chance for Shaun Murphy to draw within a single frame.
Yes, and the danger for Maguire is that Murphy, in the remainder of this match, starts to play
11.
His game. He's struggled at times to do that in the match, but there's plenty of time left to improve things and get his man under pressure. If he can win this frame, then obviously a chance to come out of it 8 each. He'd be absolutely delighted, because there's 2 frames earlier on he definitely could have lost the 2 he won on the black, and then he'd be staring at a very heavy deficit.
Oh, he hasn't stunned the cue ball over enough. He can't pot the red that's next to the black. That's a big mistake from Shaun. Dealt with the disappointment very well. But just to punch that cue ball through a bit further than ideal. Missed a few pots with the rest, and usually for Shaun, he's normally very capable with the rest. So he's got to be careful with this pot and the positional aspect of it as well, because neither are guaranteed.
Well, he seems to be feeling confident. I mean, the red, was missable. And that shot was a delicate one, but he's dealt with both of them. These long matches, there's an opportunity to have a spell where you're on top. 3 or 4 frames where you're feeling really good, playing really well. Maybe this is an exact scenario for Murphy.
$33. $34. Shaun Murphy, 34, Stephen Maguire,
Dear.
7.
You just cannot believe what can go wrong when you're in the middle of a break. Do you know, he's played that exactly as he wanted to play it. A 4-ball cannon on the red, push through it, be on a red to the left corner. Couldn't have played it better. He just couldn't possibly have seen that red finding that centre pocket. What a difference that could make.
Yeah, that's horrible. The frame was basically done, or so it felt. There's a red safe, of course, on the left-hand side cushion, so that's what he's pinning his hopes on now. Very cruel, though, that.
8.
And Steve Maguire, like all great champions, will recognise that as a potential turning point. And if you can make the most of this opportunity, psychologically it'll really hurt Shaun Murphy. That cannon that he played, he had to play it at that pace to push through the red that he cannoned, to be on the red the way he was. He played it beautifully, just very unfortunate.
$16. Got it. Is it? Seems fine. Yeah.
Well, I think he thought the
17.
rest head would come loose, but anyway, got more important things to think about here.
$24.
Just getting to the stage of the break where he'll be beginning to have thoughts about that awkward red. Probably already decided on which colour he'll wish to play for to try and knock it into play. Could well be the pink. So, 3/4 ball or half ball on the pink. A direct stun into the red
31.
on that left-hand side cushion. Ideally, you'd like to just cannon it half ball towards the yellow pocket. I'd be surprised if he played in behind it, because he couldn't leave himself nicely on a colour if he did. All sorts of scenarios. You could even leave a double on the red if you wished. Problem is, if you tried to cannon it off and you missed the cannon, you could end up snooking yourself.
$32.
Trying to move the red from a red. It's not normally advised, but Stephen felt he had the angle to attempt it. So it's end of break. Points are level.
Yellow ball.
Virtually guaranteed of a snooker here.
Stephen Maguire, 32.
Yes, what a dramatic moment. 39 each. 9-6 or 8-7. Shaun Murphy at least will come back to the table after that very unfortunate incident where he knocked the red in the middle.
Just played it with too much pace. I think Stephen will attempt this red into the right corner. It's about half ball. It's very makeable. If it goes in, he'll give himself a great opportunity to win this frame. Big shot this coming up.
Massive gasp from the Crucible crowd. He always kind of looked a bit wide. We got to see it from the pocket. It was always heading to that left-hand jaw, but no damage done, as you can see.
Yeah, Shaun could swerve around the yellow to hit the red, but he'd be hoping that the red goes safe. At least if he plays this off a cushion rail, he can drop on the red if he wishes. It'd be better to come off this right-hand side cushion into the red if he wants to try and play the red back up into bulk. If it comes down this left-hand side of the table, the red could easily cannon into the black. There's lots of room around this red as well. If Shaun doesn't make contact with it, could easily leave a free ball. All these things you have to consider. See, that's the line. If you want to drop onto the red, that's all well and good. Played the swerve. Lots of spin on the cue ball, helping it to return towards the bulk area. It's not bad. It'd probably take that, Shaun. It's as safe as it was likely to be, I suppose.
Red just flicked the black. He's ended up in the middle of the table here. Can Murphy knock this in? Another big shot in a match full of them. Nope.
Shaun just didn't get the amount of stun on the cue ball that he was hoping for. I think had he done so, he may have potted that red. Let's see what he thought of it. But this is another red, similarly difficult to the one he just missed. And he's missed that one as well. And another chance for Shaun.
A lot of oohs and ahs, aren't there, from the crowd? It's another tight frame, exciting frame. At some point, the red's going to go in. Is it going to be here? It's not. That was a better chance, really, hand on table. Oh, little flick. We've had a lot of frames like this, haven't we? Last night, I mean, we did the Jack Jones CJOE session. Every frame seemed to be like this.
Well, there's no way Steve Maguire will attempt this red, queuing right over the brown. And you can see why these players are feeling the tension. Just look at that for an atmosphere. Applause. It's a good shot in terms of it being safe, but Shaun can just play this red to the left-hand side cushion, use the green, brown and blue as snookering balls. Oh, he's made a mess of it. Well, the red would cut in, but it's thinner than it looks.
Fans of all ages keeping a close eye on this. Murphy will be happy enough with that.
Young and old. Looks like a young Shaun Murphy. Too thin from Stephen. That was a great chance to get a snooker on this last red. Just needed to catch it a little more thickly. Another chance here for Shaun to do the same thing and make a better job of it. Just look at that for an auditorium. Play, of course, has long since finished on the other table, so that's redundant for the time being. Oh, he's played this well, Steve Maguire. It's exactly the shot that he had in mind. I don't think Shaun can send the red around the angles here because the yellow would be in the way.
It's a battle, this, isn't it? They've been on this last red for nearly 10 minutes. Points dead level. Coming towards the end of the session. If Maguire could win the frame, he has the chance, of course, for 10-6 overnight. Murphy, if he won it, would have the chance for 8-all.
Now, well, full ball snooker behind the brown. Can Shaun play the cue ball just to the right of the brown, come off the side cushion and maybe flick the red in? Oh, well, could have been worse. He could have left the pot on. It is on, but it's very tricky. But Steve Maguire could play a really telling snooker here.
Finally, the red is in. Well, could have been a better kiss, actually. You put the yellow on the cushion, that's the first thing. Well, it's incredible, really, not to finish on something there.
The worst outcome imaginable. But for me, this cue ball seemed to come off very squarely off that side cushion, straight into the yellow. Oh, well, it's pointless taking on colour, really, because if you get onto the yellow, it's so missable. But if Stephen can somehow leave that cue ball roughly where the pink is, Shaun would have about as big a problem as Stephen could leave him with.
Well, a very honest tut there from Maguire. It's not getting any easier, this frame. It's just one of those frames where there's still a lot of snooker left to be played yet.
Black ball. Stephen Maguire 1.
He looks furious, but it was a well-controlled shot he played. He just obviously didn't want to knock the yellow on the cushion in the first place.
And here's a scenario where I see so many of the more inexperienced players would play that shot that Shaun has played at pace to hope to get the yellow safe, but it's never the shot to play because you can't guarantee to leave the shot safe, whereas the shot that Shaun has just played, he was never going to leave a pot on.
Both players living every shot here. Another quite lengthy frame. We had one of 31 minutes earlier on. Well, this is close. He does not want this in. He does not want this in. It's in. And the yellow's on.
4.
Yeah, he was watching it, wasn't he? He was at the pocket, and he was watching it, and it dropped.
Oh, Stephen's smiling. Maybe this green's thinner than it looks and he may struggle holding for the brown. Stupid shot, he exclaims. Well, he couldn't hold for the brown the way he wanted to, but he only has to play this plain ball. If the brown goes in, he'll automatically be on the blue, which would be frame ball.
Nine.
Well, a frame full of incident. The in-off in the end cost Murphy. He was unlucky earlier on when he knocked that red in the middle when he was in. Blue for 9-6 for Maguire. So once again, he's 3 frames clear, and now a big last frame. It feels like a must-win frame coming up for Shaun Murphy to stay in touch overnight.
20.
Another dramatic Crucible frame. It's gone to Stephen Maguire. So with 1 frame to play in the session, he leads Shaun Murphy by 9 frames to 6. Dave Gilbert, of course, waiting in the quarterfinals. Here we go then. Shaun Murphy returns. One last push this morning. Getting a good cheer from the crowd.
Thank you. Settle down, please. The final frame of the session. Shaun Murphy to break.
So Maguire 9, Murphy 6, last frame of what's been a very interesting session of snooker.
Oh, just look at that red. Come all the way up the table. into a potable position for Stephen Maguire. Again, just shows you how fast that top cushion is playing. Such a test of a player's resolve, nerve, bottle, all of these things. And you sometimes wonder, don't you, with what happened to Shaun in that previous frame, whether he's fated to lose this match. Terrifically unfortunate to going off in the corner pocket to set up the frame-winning chance at the end there for Stephen Maguire. And earlier on in the frame, when it looked a certainty they'd win it
Maguire won.
much, much earlier, played a beautiful cannon, only to see the red find the centre pocket. And in the end, it was Steve Maguire who took the frame because of all of those pieces of misfortune for Shaun Murphy. So he's got to try to put all that behind him. Focus on this frame because it's a huge one. Dave says 10-6. Tough to see him recovering from that deficit, but 9-7 keeps the pressure on.
Thanks. Foul and a miss. Shaun Murphy, 4.
Back we go.
Even that was fortunate from Stephen's point of view, because that cue ball was carrying a lot of pace, and had it just glanced off something, could have easily have left Shaun right in.
Well, as you can see, 2 50s and a 60 from Shaun Murphy after 15 frames. That is part of the story here. Stole a couple on the black today. Of course, that last one he was unfortunate in. But it all adds up to quite a healthy Maguire lead.
And he's in trouble here. The blue hiding the left-hand side of the table, the green covering the red near the corner pocket. Does not have an easy safety shot to play here, Shaun Murphy. And of course, he can't win this frame 10-6 overnight. It's a big ask. Is he taking this pot on? No. Well, it's moderately safe, but there is a straightish red available to Steve Maguire in the left centre. There is a red that he could attempt into the yellow pocket as well. He could run the cue ball up the table towards the blue and bulk colours. No.
Well, there's just a noise there. You can see 26 minutes, getting on for 27 since his last pot.
One.
Nicely done. You've got to be so precise from that angle, and he was. So, he's in. And it looks quite a good chance, this, but how's he feeling after the sort of soap opera of this session, really? I mean, there's a couple of frames where he gave it the clenched fist, and then he was looking absolutely desolate after that last frame.
Six.
One thing I'll say, though, about this generation of players, they learnt about winning and losing from a young age. The junior circuit, when the likes of Shaun and Stephen were coming through, was very competitive. Woody Thorns in Leicester was a great hub. There were others as well, where they learnt, they weren't just playing snooker, they were learning about how to cope with losing tough frames, losing tough matches. And it's been a feature of their professional careers, you know, that toughness, that temperament that you need is in there.
Seven.
Well, he's fairly parallel to the black here, Shaun. He may play a delicate cannon just to hold for a choice of reds, but he could go into them. Well, he managed to hold it in position anyway, but a delicate cannon may have been preferable there because he's perhaps not as straight on this red as he wanted to be. Couldn't hold for the black, so has had to go up for the blue.
$20. 21. $28. 29.
Really does feel like one last push. If he can win the frame handsomely, he leaves with good feelings overall that he hasn't lost the session and that he's within range for Sunday.
$37.
A couple of those reds are very tight as to whether they'll pot into this right corner. Shaun has played for the one that's to the right of the pink here.
44.
What sort of an angle does he have? Well, it's not perfect. And that's why.
45.
Can he see this black? Just.
Yeah, not everyone was sure whether you heard a bit of murmuring, but he's okay.
52. $53.
Not the best angle on the black. Just a few more pots away now from reducing the rears to 2 frames overnight.
It's not finished great on this one. He's not over the line yet. It's just, it sums up really the morning. It's not been, nothing's been kind of straightforward.
Shaun Murphy. 60.
Well, just decided to swallow his medicine, didn't try anything that could open the frame up for Maguire. So 63 the lead, 75 on. Could yet be another thrilling finish to this frame.
Shaun could really do with putting a red safe somehow. He's got the opportunity here to play the red in bulk, place it near a cushion somewhere, could even conceivably attempt the double on the red, because again he could play the cue ball near that bulk cushion. 63 points behind. I mean, the standard's so high these days. Should Steve Maguire gain an opportunity, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him win the frame from it, with the reds positioned as they are.
Five and a half hours and plenty more to come, regardless of who wins this frame.
Stephen was trying to develop all the reds there, playing attacking safety, but caught them so thinly. Very lucky not to leave a simple pot for Shaun. If he takes this pot on with the rest, which I think he will do, there'll be a lot of pressure on it. Just needs a red and high value colour. He's missed it. He's missed it. Has he got away with it? Well, Not really. Stephen will certainly attempt this, I'm sure. It's a chance to get in and get back into this frame with one good pot. Oh, maybe not. It does look thin from there, doesn't it? Less so from that angle.
Wow. Well, he will be very, very concerned now. That could not have gone worse. He's left a red to middle. There's enough on for Maguire to steal the last frame of the session. Look at this.
One.
And this is going to challenge even Shaun Murphy's general natural cheerfulness about the game.
And you can tell from Shaun's demeanour, he thinks this frame is gone. He expects Stephen Maguire to win this frame from here. That's the standard I was referring to a few moments ago. It's so high these days.
8.
These players have all won major tournaments. A clearance like this doesn't present too much difficulty ordinarily to them, except for the fact there's a great deal of pressure on both of these players.
Yeah, of course, Murphy needing red in a reasonable size colour. He did have an attempt at that red to the yellow pocket. It wasn't easy. Will he get another chance?
Nine.
As things are, the black will only pot into one corner pocket, the pink tricky to get onto. But I don't know if that's going to restrict Stephen enough to cause him enough problems to break down.
14. 15. 22. 23.
This is the worst time for a snooker player if you're in Shaun Murphy's position, sat in your chair, hoping and praying for a mistake that you don't really feel will come along.
$30. 31.
Just got to hope, Shaun Murphy, that Stephen plays a poor positional shot. This isn't straightforward. To power the black in, so playing the remaining red with the rest.
38.
I wonder, though, if he does clear up, would he celebrate? We've seen a couple of fist pumps from Murphy, 2 black ball frames.
39.
We might find out in a couple of minutes.
Well, this is the shot. I don't think Stephen wanted to be this low on the pink. He needs a good shot here. The pot is missable. The yellow right at the other end of the table. This is the shot.
Yeah, and didn't he play it well? Worth seeing again. He needs the 6 colours now to steal a 10-6 overnight advantage. Shaun Murphy made the running in the frame.
Oh, Dave, he doesn't seem to like the angle on the yellow. Where's this going to finish?
47.
This isn't great. He's not straight enough on the green and he can't hold the cue ball because it's near the side cushion. Drama yet?
Yes, it certainly made a difference, the green not being on its spot. And he's missed the green. Like you say, Dominic, drama yet.
Stephen Maguire.
It's been that sort of
47.
session. And it's not done yet.
He's been fortunate though, hasn't he, Stephen? I've got to say on Shaun's behalf, he hasn't had a great run of the ball today, has he? But he's still in there. He could have dropped this green in, left a tricky brown with the rest, but tried to force it in. Oh, this is a good green from Shaun. Would have loved to have knocked that black to the cushion.
Maguire's had a look at the potting angle. It seems apt in a way, the session ends like this, because it's been this sort of afternoon. It's been this sort of match, really.
I think the shot that Shaun would like to play would be to play the green into bolt behind the brown, but he has to make sure that the green doesn't cannon the pink, and it hasn't done. Needs the green to slow down though. I don't think Stephen attempted the pot. I think what probably happened, the cue ball just ran off course a fraction. Has the ground saved him? I think it has. Is it a snooker? Yes, it is. These are never easy to judge off 2 cushions with right-hand side in this case. Shaun wants to leave the green somewhere near the black spot, but you can easily misjudge these.
Yeah, well played. Murphy 16 in front, so he needs green and brown. Stephen Maguire needs them all.
will Shaun risk trying to chip the green in behind the pink, get the cue ball in behind the brown on the bulk cushion? He's missed it. Oh, it's a free ball. Worst possible outcome.
4 and the free ball.
Referee Marcel Eckardt declaring the free ball because he can't hit both sides of the green. Now, he's obviously on the brown here, Stephen Maguire, but is it worth taking on the free ball? Or should he snooker Shaun Murphy? Again, another big decision to make. Could pot the brown, leave the cue ball in a good position to snooker Shaun behind the black on the green. That would be a very telling snooker potentially. One thing Stephen won't do is have the balls replaced and ask Shaun Murphy to play the shot again.
Brando.
Oh no! Did everything he could to get that cue ball somewhere near the black and the green, but the cannon on the blue.
Free.
Nothing straightforward, is it?
Not in this match, it's not. So, 12 points in it. Still actually green and brown needed for Murphy.
Stephen Maguire. Free.
Well, actually, the 3 points hadn't gone on, so there's 9 points in it. Which means he would also need the blue Murphy.
Well, I'm sure Shaun's eyes have lit up here because he can get this cue ball right in behind the blue and the pink. Oh, he'll be disappointed. That was a golden chance. Stephen will be very relieved.
So, 29-minute frame to conclude. What a frame as well. What a session. Big frame, isn't it? It's that overnight position. Maguire with much more breathing space at 10-6 than 9-7.
Well, in a situation like this, you've got to keep the object ball safe. He's missed the green again, but this time flicked it off the top cushion. He'll be very pleased with this. It's not going to be easy for Stephen to do much with this. Such a risky shot that Stephen Maguire tried to play there. He's really given the initiative to Shaun here. Oh, that's clumsy. That's really clumsy from Shaun. Player with a wonderful touch, but he's overhit that significantly. It's giving the initiative back. Well, Shaun can't see enough of the green to pot it, but if he can strike the cushion first, he can send the cue ball in behind the blue and the green above the pink and the blue and snooker Stephen Maguire. But it's a delicate shot. Played it well, though, beautifully. Great shot.
For all the big breaks that we see, this sort of snooker is just so engrossing. We've seen a lot of it at this year's championship. It's a solid hit from Maguire.
These last two frames have been the longest of the match. This one the longest. And there's still more drama ahead of us.
It's a great effort.
Yeah, still a great shot, wasn't it? Shaun just coming around to see if there's a chance he can get the cue ball in behind the green from the bulk cushion and kick it down towards the blue and the pink. Wow, what a double from Stephen Maguire. I did not forecast him attempting that. Shaun Murphy very concerned now. One good pot on the brown, but he's going to have to send the cue ball all around the angles. But there's a chalk mark on the cue ball. So, 6 points behind. Brown, blue and pink needed. Doesn't have to get too close to this blue. It's near enough to the pocket.
Seven.
Well, I think to have been a little closer to the blue than this. Just needs to pot the blue. He'll be on the pink, although not perfectly.
Well, what a session, what a frame to conclude. Shaun Murphy again made the running. Steve Maguire needs the pink, and he'll be 10-6 up overnight. And there's the celebration from Stephen Maguire, who has won a crunch frame. Remember Shaun Murphy with the fist pumps earlier on? Well, that's what Maguire thinks of that frame. He's won it. He marches out of the arena with a 4-frame lead, and it means Shaun Murphy has it all to do when they resume on Sunday morning. A thrilling session of snooker, but it's Maguire on top here, 10-6, and he's pretty happy about it.